Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's episode we're in beautiful Santa Barbara, which is located a little bit more than 100 miles up north from Los Angeles, and this is a really beautiful coastal town which has a lot of Mediterranean influence in a lot of the architecture, and it's kind of dubbed as the American Riviera of America. This is a really beautiful place, blue seas all around, beautiful architecture, and definitely a different vibe than what I show in a lot of my videos. So without any further ado, let's explore. Santa Barbara is a coastal city situated on a south-facing section of the coastline, the longest such section on the west coast of the United States. The first permanent European residents who created the city of Santa Barbara were Spanish missionaries and soldiers under Felipe de Neve, who arrived in 1782 and constructed the Presidio. Many of the Spaniards brought their families with them, and those formed a nucleus of the small town. The Spanish period ended in 1822 with the conclusion of the Mexican War of Independence, which terminated 300 years of Spanish colonial rule and transferred control to the newly independent Mexican government. Nowadays, Santa Barbara has grown to become a popular tourist and resort destination with a diverse economy that includes a large service sector, education, technology, healthcare, finance, agriculture, manufacturing, and a local government. One of the highlights here in Santa Barbara is to visit some of its missions. And the building behind me is called Mission Santa Barbara, which was the 10th mission that was built out of 21 missions that are spread out all over the coast. And these buildings were built back in the day in order to try to convert the people that were native to these regions to the religion that was in Spain at the time. And this building was built in 1786, and yeah, it does kind of have a little bit of a dark history in a way because yeah, they're trying to convert people to different religions, but at the same time it is a really beautiful building. There's a museum inside, there's a chapel, and it is one of the highlights. So when you are here, it truly is really nice to see just because of its history. Mission Santa Barbara is often referred to as the Queen of the Missions. It was founded by Padre Firmin Lasuen for the Franciscan Order. The mission is the namesake of the city of Santa Barbara and comes from the legend of Saint Barbara, a girl who was beheaded by her father for following the Christian faith. A residential area now surrounds the mission, including the Mission Historical Park, which offers a large open grassy area where people are able to enjoy picnics and the beautiful views surrounding this area, as well as the A.C. Postel Memorial Rose Garden, which is super well kept and hosts many rows of beautiful roses of many colors and types. Going through this area really feels magical and makes this historical location a must-see while in this area. In front of Mission Santa Barbara, there's a beautiful fountain where many people seem to love throwing coins in, as well as a couple of vendors and then really interesting chalk drawings which cover the floors surrounding the front area of the church. Of course, because the building is really old, it's important to note all the details in the different paths leading up to the mission store and museum, as well as the sculptures and historical bells that are part of the facade of the mission. Looking at the way this building is built really reinforces how much history there is in Santa Barbara. One thing that truly stands out when you are in downtown Santa Barbara is the fact that the architecture right here looks so cool. It is, after all, Spaniard looking because of what happened with the missions. So yeah, when you go through residential streets, you're going to find a lot of cool little houses that have different types of architecture, different designs, but they all have that little Spanish vibe to them, and they kind of also have that old vibe to them, so it almost feels like it's a house from a couple of centuries ago. And also in downtown Santa Barbara, what is nice too is that you are going to see some more churches, not just the big missions that you would see on the coast, but you are going to see some older churches too, and they also have really cool designs to them. So yeah, whether you're going through a residential street or a commercial street, everything is really pleasant, and it is kind of what makes this place have its charm and worth visiting. The dominant architectural themes of downtown Santa Barbara and Santa Barbara in general are the Mediterranean Revival, Spanish Colonial Revival, and the related Mission Revival style encouraged through design guidelines adopted by city leaders after the 1925 earthquake destroyed much of the downtown commercial district. Many late 1800s Victorian homes remain downtown and in the Upper East neighborhood. Because of Santa Barbara's history with missions, numerous old-style churches can be found throughout the city, which really adds a lot of charm to the downtown area of Santa Barbara. Also, one thing to note of in the downtown region of Santa Barbara is the amount of greenery that is abundant on the sides of the streets, as well as large parks such as the Alameda Park, which occupies 2 blocks and is home to a gazebo, as well as the 8,000 square foot Kids World playground. No downtown area would be complete if they didn't have a shopping district, and right here in Santa Barbara they have State Street Promenade, which is a really long promenade. It's actually 10 blocks long, where they have a bunch of stores that are lining all of the streets, and there's also cafes, restaurants, there's also theaters. There's really a lot of stuff. There's a lot of day life, a lot of nightlife. It's really beautiful, even from an architectural point of view. As you guys can see, this area, I'm always talking about the architecture, but it is truly spectacular, especially for America, where there's quite a lot of more recent buildings. Here you can really see the history, and on this promenade, well, you can just enjoy it, walk along all these shops and just enjoy Santa Barbara. The State Street Promenade is the main entertainment and retail district of Santa Barbara. The expansive 10-block pedestrian walkway spans between Sola and Gutierrez streets and gives this area of the city a European feel to it. Even though car traffic is not allowed to go through these streets, bicyclists are permitted to cruise along the promenade. Therefore, pedestrians still need to pay attention to ongoing traffic if they aren't walking on the sidewalk. State Street really feels like it does have it all, as this area of the city doesn't just offer shops but also houses many movie theaters, which all have beautiful architecture on their buildings. Moreover, some museums are also located on the street, such as the Museum of Art, which was founded in 1941, and is home to both permanent and special collections, the former of which includes Asian, American, and European art that spans 4,000 years from ancient to modern. Also, every Thursday from 3 to 8 p.m., State Street is transformed into a local marketplace for locals and visitors alike to meet and shop the products of local artisans. This is again an unmissable place to visit while in this area, simply by its pure entertainment, but also just to look at the beautiful decorations and style in which each building is built. At the end of the State Street Promenade, well, we end up at the beautiful coast of Santa Barbara. And yes, this city is on the coast, so you get to see really beautiful views of the sea. And they do have a beach too, which is really pleasant. It's not the same kind of vibe that you would have in Los Angeles, where you go to the beach at Santa Monica where there's so many people. At least here today it's a kind of a gray day and it's pretty much empty, so it's in some ways kind of sad, but at the same time kind of pleasant too, to be able to kind of almost have a beach to yourself. And then they also have a pier that's called Stern Wharf, and it is really interesting because you're able to drive on this pier with your car, so you get 90 minutes of free parking if you want to come here with your car. But they do have a couple of restaurants too here and a couple of stores, and you get to really see the beautiful, beautiful sea that's right here and beautiful views of the city from the pier. And you get to also smell that beautiful fresh sea air, which, you know, living in cities, you sometimes have a lot of smog, and right here you get to enjoy a bit of the breeze, enjoy more of nature, even though you're kind of in the city. And yeah, it's just really pleasant. When completed in 1872, Stearns Wharf became the longest deep water pier between Los Angeles and San Francisco. Named for its builder, local lumberman John P. Stearns, the wharf served the passengers and freight shipping needs of California's south coast for over a quarter century. Since its beginning, Stern Wharf has had several natural and economic disasters, from the big earthquake in 1925 to a fire in 1973 which caused its closing. The wharf stayed closed for 6 years until restorations were completed in 1981. Stern Wharf stands today as Santa Barbara's most visited landmark. Currently, 17 businesses on the wharf are open to the public, including restaurants, museums, souvenir shops, an ice cream parlor, and candy store. Next to it is the State Beach, which is pretty vast and has plenty of sand for people to enjoy all types of beach activities. Like many beach areas in California, there's an outdoor skate park which lets skateboarders and rollerbladers have a nice playground with plenty of fresh air, as well as a nice boardwalk lunging the coast filled with interesting statues and restaurants. Santa Barbara may not be the most famous for its beach areas, but locals are able to paddleboard, fish in certain areas of the pier, as well as sail their boats, making this once again an amazing location for both locals and tourists alike who want to enjoy some fresh air and see some of the California coastal lifestyle. About a 45-minute drive away from the city center of Santa Barbara, well, we find ourselves in Solvang, which is the Danish town here in California. Yes, it's kind of unexpected, but there is a Danish town right here, and it's really cool. They have windmills, they have a lot of Danish food, a lot of Danish decorated style buildings, and it's a really, really interesting place to go and visit when you are here in Santa Barbara, because it's not too far away if you're coming with a car. As I said, it's only 45 minutes away, and I actually did make a video that focuses on this town, so please check it out because it is really interesting. I'm not going to go in depth in this video because I'm focusing more on Santa Barbara, and as you guys can see, it's also kind of getting a little bit dark, so I think that this is the perfect place to end this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment too. Let me know what other places in California I should go visit. Let me know what other videos I should go visit, maybe other places of the world. Maybe it could happen. Well, okay, that's it. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.